Ladies and gentlemen, if I told you one habit could increase your income, double your opportunities, and upgrade your entire life in 90 days, would you even believe me? Most people wouldn't. And that's exactly why they stay stuck. Let me ask you something. If you lost every skill you have today, your talent, your degree, your contacts, everything, but you could keep just one habit, one single thing you do every day, which habit would make sure you still become successful? Most people panic when they hear this. Some say, waking up early. Some say reading books. And one of my favorites, drinking 8 glasses of water. Yes, stay hydrated. But no one ever became a billionaire because they drank more water. Let me tell you something uncomfortable. Most people don't fail because they're dumb. They fail because their life is a buffet plate, a little bit of everything, mastered in nothing. You know how some people say, I'm working on my fitness and my business and my mindset and my side hustle and my diet, and I'm trying to learn trading, also drop shipping, plus I'm learning coding on the side. Bro, calm down. Even your brain is buffering. You ever see someone try to clean their room? They pick one shirt from the bed, walk to the cupboard. On the way, they see shoes on the floor. They pick the shoes, then they see their phone, and suddenly they're scrolling TikTok for 30 minutes. End result? Room still dirty. Life still messy. That's what most people are doing with their entire life. Now look at famous example we all know. People look at someone like Elon Musk and say, he has 5 companies, I can do 5 things too. No, you can't. You can't even reply to messages on time. People look at Cristiano Ronaldo and say, hard work pays off. Yes, it does. But he built his entire success on one core habit, repeated every single day, obsessively for years. Even your favorite YouTubers, entrepreneurs, athletes, they're not multitasking monsters. They are one habit machines, obsessed with one thing so deeply that it explodes into everything else. Now let's talk about normal, everyday life examples. You know that one person who says, I'm going to start a business this year. Then next month, actually I'm doing freelancing. Then next month, actually I'm doing Amazon. Then next month, actually I'm thinking of gym. At this point, the only thing they are actually doing is changing plans. Or the friend who keeps buying planners, notebooks, calendars, looks motivated for 2 days, then forgets where the planner even is. Motivation gone, pen gone, dreams gone. Tell me honestly, have you ever started something with full excitement and 3 days later you're like, hey, maybe tomorrow? We all have. Because most people don't lack motivation. They lack the habit that makes motivation unnecessary. And that habit, that one habit, is the only thing separating people who grow 10x from people who stay stuck for 10 years. Let's talk about what that habit actually is and why it has the power to change your entire life. It's not waking up at 5 a.m. It's not reading 50 books a year. It's not journaling, cold showers, or drinking lemon water. Those things help, sure, but they're not the engine. The real habit is this. Every single day, choose one thing that actually moves your life forward and finish it before you do anything else. That's it. Simple? Yes. Easy? Absolutely not. You know why most people don't grow? Because they wake up every day and allow the world to decide what they're going to do. Their phone decides. Their mood decides. Their friends decide. Their notifications decide. Their laziness decides. And then they wonder why their life feels like a spinning wheel going nowhere. Let me tell you something the world doesn't teach you. Your life doesn't change when you do 50 things. Your life changes when you do the right thing consistently. Let me show you with a relatable example. Say you want to make more money. What do most people do? They watch 40 videos, take notes, search best side hustle 2025, make a folder on their phone. Then they do nothing because their brain is drowning in options. Now imagine a different scenario. You wake up, you choose one thing. I will pitch 5 clients today. Not 50 ideas, not 10 tasks, just one action that actually moves your income forward. You finish that one thing before anything else. No scrolling. No, I'll do it after lunch. No, I'll do it when I feel motivated. Just one thing, every day. Do you think your income won't change after 90 days of doing that? It has to change. It becomes mathematically impossible for it not to. Let me give you a famous example everybody knows. People admire Warren Buffett for being a billionaire, but they forget his real superpower. Every morning he asks himself, what is the one thing today that will have the biggest impact on my future wealth? And then he spends the day doing that. Nothing else. Not 10 things, not 5 side hustles, not switching industries every month. Just one focus for decades. That's what made him rich, not luck. Now compare that to the average person. One day, they want to learn YouTube. Next day, trading. Next day, gym. Next day, real estate. Next day, baking brownies. Next day, they're saying, bro, I think my destiny is something spiritual. At this point, even destiny is confused. Your life doesn't change because you're not focused on changing it. You're busy, but not moving. Busy is not progress. Activity is not growth. Movement is not improvement. The one habit forces you to look at your life and say, what actually matters today? And here's the real psychology behind it. The part no one tells you. Your brain loves easy things. Scrolling, checking messages, cleaning your desk, watching a video called How to Be Productive While Not Being Productive. The brain loves these because they give quick dopamine, but your future is built on the things that don't give quick dopamine. The uncomfortable tasks, the scary tasks, the high-impact tasks, the tasks that take courage, focus, discipline. Now that you understand the habit, I'm going to show you exactly how to use it, how to choose the right one thing each day, how to track it, how to stay consistent, how to stop distractions, how to avoid procrastination, how to build a routine that actually changes your life. Because knowing the habit is one thing. Applying it every day, that's where the transformation happens. Now that you know what the habit is, doing one high-impact thing every day. The big question is, how do you actually do it? Because knowing something and doing something are two completely different universes. Let's start with the first truth. If you don't plan it, it won't happen. Seriously. Life is like a toddler with a sugar rush. Chaotic, distracting, and impossible to control if you don't guide it. So, step 1. Decide your one priority the night before. Yes, tonight. Write it down. Not, I will be productive tomorrow. That's a magic spell that never works. Write the actual task. I will finish the client proposal. I will record the video script. I will send 5 cold emails. 1. Task. Done. Step 2. Protect your hour like it's the last hour of your life. Because most people treat their most important work like a Tinder date. They leave it on maybe while responding to everything else. Turn off notifications. Close your tabs. Silence your phone. Tell people, I'm unavailable. Now comes the funny part. We all love distractions. You know that 10-minute quick scroll that turns into 90 minutes? That's why this habit is a muscle. It must be exercised. Every time you resist the scroll, your focus gets stronger. Every time you finish that one priority before doing anything else, you're basically bench pressing life itself. Step 3. Start ridiculously small if you need to. Don't tell me, I need to finish the entire project. That's overwhelming. Start with the first paragraph. Start with 10 minutes. Start with one step. It's the momentum that counts, not perfection. Remember the person who wanted to make $1 billion company, but started by emailing one client? Same principle. Step 4. Celebrate completion. Even tiny wins. Funny, right? We never celebrate finishing what we should, but we celebrate meaningless things. Yay! I got 50 likes on Instagram. Meanwhile, your one high-value task is done. Nothing. So give yourself credit. Small victories compound into confidence, and confidence compounds into execution. Step 5. Repeat it every single day. Yes, daily. Not some days when I feel like it. Not only when I have time. Every day. Because habits are like bank accounts. Small deposits repeated consistently are what make you rich. Big, random deposits? Useless? Here's where it gets hilarious. Life will throw distractions, excuses, and better ideas at you. Your brain will say, I don't feel like it today. I'll start tomorrow. This is boring. Ignore it. Your future self will thank you. Your past self will be jealous. And the person who didn't build this habit, they'll still be scrolling TikTok, wondering why life isn't working out. Jeff Bezos. Prioritize one major company goal per day instead of multitasking across multiple big projects. Bill Gates famously does what he calls think weeks. He isolates himself completely and focuses on one big problem at a time. No distractions, no multitasking. Just one thing, obsessively, until it's solved. That's how breakthroughs happen. Meanwhile, your cousin might spend the entire day switching between WhatsApp groups, Netflix, and snacks. Meanwhile, the one thing they could have done would have actually changed their life. Your neighbor is doing laundry, but also learning a skill, but also checking crypto. None of it finished. That's exactly what happens when you scatter focus. Step 6, plan for obstacles. You'll feel lazy. You'll get tired. Your friends will distract you. Your favorite show will drop a new season. Anticipate it. Decide your rules. No exceptions for distractions until your one task is complete. Your one task is now untouchable. Treat it like royalty. Finally, step 7. Reflect every week. Ask yourself, did I do my one thing every day? Did it move the needle? What can I adjust for next week? Reflection turns random action into learning, and learning turns action into mastery. So in short, pick your one thing. Protect it ruthlessly. Start small if needed. Celebrate tiny wins. Repeat every day. Plan for distractions. Reflect weekly. Do this consistently, and in 90 days, your life won't just be better. It will look completely different from the people around you. The ones who are still busy doing a million random things and accomplishing nothing. You've learned the habit. You know why it works. But let's be honest. Words alone don't change behavior. What really makes people believe is seeing results, seeing transformation, seeing the impossible actually happen. Let's start with someone most people know, Simone Biles. She didn't become the greatest gymnast by doing a little bit of everything. She focused on one skill at a time, one trick, one landing, one leap. Day after day, year after year, and the result? She's rewriting the history of gymnastics. People aren't just admiring her skill, they're admiring the focus behind it. Now, not everyone is Simone Biles, and that's the point. Even an ordinary person can create extraordinary results with this habit. Take a freelancer I know. Let's call him Liam. Liam was stuck, scattered, trying to do social media marketing, content writing, graphic design, you name it. Every day ended with a long to-do list and zero real progress. Then he tried something different. One high-impact task per day. If today was writing proposals, he ignored everything else until he finished 5 solid proposals. 3 months later, his income tripled. He had new clients knocking on his door. The habit didn't just improve his work, it rewired his confidence. I know a friend, let's call him Henry, who wanted to start a side hustle. He tried 10 different ideas in 1 week. By Friday, he was exhausted, demotivated, and still broke. Then he picked one thing, selling one product online. Focused, optimized, repeated. 3 months later, he had his first profitable store. Now every time he sees a shiny new opportunity, he smiles, because he knows that focusing on one thing always wins. And it's not just money. Imagine your fitness journey. You could hop between 50 workouts, 20 diets, 10 apps, or like LeBron James, you focus on one skill, one training session every day, and build unstoppable consistency. The results? Your stamina, strength, and confidence skyrocket. You feel like a different person. Literally, every transformation has a common thread. They weren't doing 50 things. They weren't motivated by luck or inspiration. They mastered one thing, repeated it, and let it compound. And here's the kicker. If ordinary people can do it, so can you. Because you don't need genius, you don't need money, you just need focus. You just need one habit, applied consistently. Now here's the emotional part. Think about yourself. 90 days from now. If you start today, focusing on one thing each day, your skills will improve, your income will grow, your confidence will skyrocket. Opportunities you didn't even know existed will start showing up. And if you don't start, you'll probably still be scrolling, still multitasking, still overwhelmed, still waiting for some motivation that never comes. Imagine this, 90 days from now, you could be living a life completely different from today. Not because you got lucky, not because someone handed it to you, but because you decided to master one habit, one action, one focus, one thing done every single day. Every morning, while most people hit snooze, scroll aimlessly, and wonder why nothing is changing, you will be working on your one thing, one small action, repeated every day. And every day, your life compounds, your skills compound, your confidence compounds. By the time your friends are still searching for motivation on TikTok, you'll be ahead of 90% of the world. Let me tell you something funny and true. Most people are terrified of commitment. They're afraid of focusing. They say, I don't want to miss opportunities. The truth? Scattering your energy is the fastest way to miss them all. Now picture yourself applying this. You wake up tomorrow morning and you do the one high-impact thing you wrote down last night. No distractions, no excuses, no waiting for motivation. By the end of the day, you've already moved your life forward more than most people do in a week. The next day, you do it again. And the next, and the next. By the end of 30 days, you'll be shocked at how far you've come. By 90 days, your life will look unrecognizable. This is not a motivational fantasy. This is reality for anyone willing to act. Here's the secret no one tells you. Success isn't built on talent. It's not built on intelligence. It's not built on luck. It's built on consistent, focused action. Every day, one habit, one thing, done. And the most powerful part, once you start, it becomes easier. Focus becomes your default. Discipline becomes your default. Confidence becomes your default. You stop chasing shortcuts because you realize the real shortcut is mastery of one habit. So here's your challenge. Tonight, write down your one high-impact task for tomorrow. No excuses. No compromises. Protect it, complete it, celebrate it. Repeat every day for 90 days. Do that, and I guarantee you, not maybe, not someday, your life will change. Your income will grow. Your opportunities will multiply. Your confidence will explode. People will ask you, how did you do it? And all you'll need to say is, one habit, one focus, one day at a time. So stand up, make the decision, commit to this habit. Because the world doesn't wait for anyone. Your future self is waiting. And it starts right now. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, my friends. Ladies and gentlemen, dreamers, hustlers, and those who refuse to accept that life is just fine, stop for a moment and listen. Because what I am about to tell you is the kind of truth they never teach in school, the kind of lesson no book will ever give you, and the kind of insight that can change the direction of your life forever. If you take away only one thing from today, let it be this. Success is not about talent, luck, or connections. It's about refusing to give up, even when everything in your life, every person around you, every circumstance is screaming quit. That's it. One rule. One principle that separates those who dream from those who achieve. One principle that can transform failure into fuel, rejection into opportunity, and doubt into unstoppable action. Let me tell you a story. I wasn't born into privilege or talent or special opportunities. In fact, if you were to look at my childhood, you'd probably assume I would end up doing something small and ordinary. I was born in a small, quiet city. No skyscrapers, no tech startups, just bicycles, small streets, and people who watched you more closely than your parents did. And as a kid, I was ordinary at best. I was slow, I was weak, I was terrible at math, and don't even ask about sports. I was the kind of kid who tripped over air and got laughed at for trying. But I had one thing. I loved to talk. I loved telling stories, connecting with people, asking questions, learning from every person I met. And slowly, I realized something important. Sometimes, your greatest skill isn't what you're taught to excel at. Sometimes, it's the thing you naturally love, even if the world tells you it's useless. That skill, that little spark, can change everything if you nurture it. Every morning, I woke up before sunrise, hopped on my bicycle, and offered free tours to foreigners staying at a local hotel. Free. Just to practice my English, just to meet people, just to grow. Did I become fluent immediately? Not at all. But I gained something far more valuable, confidence. The kind of confidence that doesn't fade when someone tells you no. The kind of confidence that doesn't vanish when the world laughs at your dreams. And the world will laugh. Oh, it will laugh. You will be rejected by companies, by schools, by people you respect, and by opportunities that seem obvious to everyone else. I applied to dozens of jobs when I was young. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yes, KFC. Rejected me. They said I wasn't crispy enough. I wasn't joking. They literally told me I was not suitable to sell chicken. Another time, I tried to join the police force. Out of 5 applicants, 4 were accepted. I was the only one rejected. You're too skinny, they said. You can't chase criminals. And yet here I am today, telling you those failures were more valuable than any certificate, any award, any easy path I could have been given. Why? Because rejection teaches lessons you can't learn in classrooms. Rejection forces you to get creative. Rejection forces you to believe in yourself when no one else will. And belief, stubborn, unshakable belief, is what separates the dreamers from the achievers. Every no you hear is a lesson. Every door that slams shut is a challenge to find a window, a roof, a hole in the wall to climb through. Let me share another truth. Success does not require perfection. You don't need a flawless plan, a perfect resume, a fancy office, or $1 billion in funding to start something extraordinary. I started with nothing, literally nothing. I had no money. I had no technical skills. I had barely a workspace beyond a tiny apartment. And yet, I believed in my vision. I believed that we could create something bigger than ourselves, something that could change lives. That belief was my fuel. That belief was my power. I gathered a small group of friends in my apartment and said, we are going to build a company that connects people, empowers businesses, and changes the world. Some laughed, some doubted, some said it was impossible. One person said, but none of us know how to code. I smiled. Exactly, I said, we'll learn as we go. Another said, we have no money. I said, perfect. That's why we start now. Because if we wait for the perfect moment, we will wait forever. And that's how something extraordinary began from nothing. Here's the thing nobody tells you. The journey will be brutal. You will be exhausted. You will feel lost. You will question everything you thought you knew. You will cry. You will laugh. You will want to give up. And that is precisely the moment that will define you. Those who quit become the world's spectators. Those who persist become the world's creators. And the difference between giving up and succeeding is often just a single step forward when everything in you says stop. Let's be honest, shortcuts don't exist. There is no magic pill, no instant success, no overnight transformation. True success comes from showing up again and again, from doing the work no one sees, from learning in the silence of failure, and from growing in ways that are uncomfortable, inconvenient, and even painful. You will stumble. You will fail. You will be mocked. And you know what? That's exactly what will make your success so powerful, so real, and so undeniable. When I traveled to meet investors in the early days, I was laughed at. 30 meetings, 0 investment. They said, you don't understand the internet. You're from a small city in China. You're too inexperienced. Your ideas won't work. And I smiled. Because every rejection was teaching me something. Every no was a test to see how much I really wanted it. And I wanted it more than I feared failure. Here's a golden rule for you. Do not let others define your limits. The people who doubt you, laugh at you, or tell you it's impossible are often the ones who have never dared to try themselves. Let their doubt motivate you. Let their criticism sharpen you. And above all, let their disbelief remind you that your vision is yours alone and the world needs it. Success, my friends, is not about competing with others. It's about becoming better than the person you were yesterday. It's about helping people, solving real problems, and creating value that lasts. When the world is obsessed with rivals, focus on your people. Focus on your mission. Focus on being useful. Trust me, when you do that, money, recognition, and influence will follow, but only after you've earned them by serving others. And here's the truth about failure. It's not the opposite of success, it's a part of it. Every time you fall, every time you are rejected, every time life knocks you down, you are growing stronger, smarter, and closer to your goal. Don't fear failure. Don't hide from rejection. Embrace them. Learn from them. Let them guide you to solutions no one else can see. So today I challenge you. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for someone to validate your dreams. Start now. Start messy. Start scared. Start small. Because those first steps, taken in courage, in uncertainty, in the face of doubt, are what will build momentum. Momentum that will carry you further than talent, connections, or luck ever could. Remember this. The world doesn't need another copy of someone else's success. The world needs you, your ideas, your creativity, your stubbornness, your passion. Perfection is boring. Persistence is legendary. Show up when it's inconvenient. Show up when you're tired. Show up when failure whispers in your ear. Show up when everyone else has walked away. That is how empires are built. That is how legends are made. And let me leave you with this before we continue. Believe in yourself even when it feels ridiculous. Believe when people laugh. Believe when doors close. Believe when nothing seems possible. Because the very moment you stop believing is the moment the world will stop noticing you. But if you refuse to quit, if you refuse to be ordinary, if you keep moving forward, eventually the world will have no choice but to see you. This is where your journey begins. Your real story starts the moment you decide not to let circumstances, opinions, or fear define your limits. So take this as a promise to yourself. No matter how many times you fail, no matter how many people say no, no matter how small, weak, or unprepared you feel, you will rise, you will fight, you will create, and you will succeed. When we finally started building our company, we were nothing. A few people sitting in a small apartment with second-hand chairs, old computers, and zero funding. We didn't have investors. We didn't have big connections. We didn't even have the skills most serious businesses had. But we had something far more valuable, a dream and the courage to chase it. And let me tell you this, people will underestimate you until the day you prove them wrong. When we first tried to raise money, investors laughed at us. They said, "You're too small. You don't understand technology. You don't understand business. This will never work." I went to 30 meetings and heard no 30 times, not one yes. Do you know how painful that feels? To pour your heart out, to share your vision, to believe with everything you have, only to hear rejection after rejection. But here's the secret. The pain of rejection is temporary. The regret of giving up is permanent. Every no made me sharper. Every rejection made me hungrier. Every door that slammed in my face pushed me to build my own door. And that's exactly what we did. We worked day and night. We slept on the floor sometimes. We ate cheap noodles. We argued. We doubted. But we never stopped moving forward. Because when you have a vision bigger than yourself, your excuses start to look very small. Let me share something important with you. If your dream only serves you, it's too small. The reason we survived and grew was because we weren't just thinking about ourselves. We were thinking about millions of small businesses who had no way to reach the world. We wanted to give them a platform. We wanted to give them hope. And when your dream is about helping others, suddenly the world begins to help you back. I want you to remember this. Great companies, great movements, great legacies, they are never built for selfish reasons. They are built because someone cared enough to solve real problems. You want to be rich? You want to be successful? Then stop asking, how can I make money? And start asking, how can I help others? Money chases value. If you create value, wealth will follow you. The road to success is never a straight line. It is full of obstacles, failures, betrayals, sleepless nights, and moments where you wonder if it's worth it. But the people who change the world are the ones who keep walking, even when the road disappears. In the early days, we faced giants, companies much bigger, richer, smarter than us. They had all the money, all the technology, all the resources. People told us, you can't compete with them. They will crush you. But you see, being small is not a weakness. Being small is an advantage. Big companies move slow. Small teams move fast. Big companies fear failure. Small teams experiment. And while the giants were laughing, we were learning, adapting, growing, step by step. Let me tell you something about failure. It's not the opposite of success. It is the foundation of it. Every failure is training. Every rejection is preparation. Every mistake is a lesson that makes you stronger for the battles ahead. The only people who never fail are the ones who never try, and they are already failures by choice. There were days when I thought everything was collapsing, days when we couldn't pay salaries, days when the internet itself seemed like it might disappear. But here's what I learned. When you are down to nothing, that is when your creativity and courage show up the most. Crisis reveals leaders, pain reveals strength, and problems reveal solutions that comfort never will. And through all of it, I kept reminding myself and my team of one truth. If we don't give up, we still have a chance. The moment we quit, the game is over. Success is never about how many times you win. It's about how many times you refuse to lose. And eventually, the same people who said it's impossible started to say, how did you do it? The same people who rejected us started to call us. The same investors who laughed began begging to invest. That's the irony of life. The world ignores you until it can't. And then it acts like it believed in you all along. But here's what matters. Not the applause, not the recognition, not the headlines. What matters is the impact. Did you solve real problems? Did you help people? Did you create something that will last longer than you? If yes, then you are already successful. So today, I leave you with this. Your journey will not be easy, but that's the point. Easy paths create weak people. Hard paths create strong leaders. And if you want to live a life that inspires others, You must first live a life that challenges you. When the world says you are too small, too weak, too unqualified, smile. Because they are right about who you are today, but they have no idea who you can become tomorrow. So dream big. Start small, move fast, fail often, learn always, help others, and never ever give up. Because one day, the same people who doubted you will tell your story as inspiration. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, my friends. When we look at the young generation today, many parents say, "My child doesn't listen. My child spends too much time on their phone. My child is addicted to things I don't understand." But let me tell you something. This is not just their problem. This is our problem. Because addiction is not only about substances like nicotine or vaping. Addiction is about habits that control us more than we control them. Think about it. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? Do you stretch, drink water, and prepare for your day? Or do you reach for your phone and scroll endlessly? That, my friends, is also an addiction. And our children, they are watching us. They copy what we do, not what we say. If we are addicted to screens, how can we tell them to stay away from vaping? Now, let me make this real for you. I once met a young boy, 16 years old. His parents were hardworking, busy, always telling him to study. But no one noticed that he started vaping. Why? Because it looked small, harmless, just a trend. He thought, it's just smoke, it's cool, all my friends are doing it. Slowly, he couldn't focus on school. He lost his energy, his confidence, and when his parents finally realized, it was almost too late. Addiction is like a silent thief. It doesn't knock on your door. It sneaks in quietly. And by the time you notice, it has already taken something precious away. Now, parents usually react in two ways. One group gets angry. They shout, they punish. They think fear will fix the problem. The other group ignores it, thinking it's just a phase, it will pass. But neither of these works. Because addiction is not a mistake, it's a trap. And once a young person falls into it, they don't need punishment. They need guidance. They don't need lectures. They need understanding. Let me give you an example. In the United States, studies show millions of teenagers are addicted to vaping. In Asia, millions of students are addicted to gaming. In Europe, many young people struggle with alcohol. Different countries, different habits. But the root is the same. Young people are searching for comfort, for escape, for identity. They don't wake up saying, "I want to be addicted." They just want to feel accepted, to feel important, to feel less stressed. And this is where parents must step in. Not as judges, but as mentors. A judge only looks at mistakes. A mentor looks at potential. Addiction takes away potential, but guidance brings it back. Parents need to ask themselves, am I inspiring my child, or am I just instructing them? Children do not follow instructions for long, but they follow inspiration for life. Imagine this. A teenager is addicted to nicotine. You tell him, "Don't do it, it's bad." He hears it, but the next day, he does it again. Why? Because knowledge doesn't change people. Emotion does. What if instead you said, "Son, I understand it feels good in the moment, but every time you take that puff, you are giving away your strength, your dreams, your future, and I believe you are stronger than this." That hits differently. That makes him feel you are on his side, not against him. The first step for every parent is to see the addiction, not hide from it. To accept that it can happen to any child, rich or poor, smart or average, introvert or extrovert. No child is safe from addiction. Because addiction is not about weakness. It is about environment, about influence, about small daily choices. Once we accept this truth, only then can we start helping. And to the young people listening, understand this. Every addiction begins as entertainment and ends as a chain. At first you control it, later it controls you. At first you feel powerful because of it. Later, you feel powerless without it. And that is when your future begins to slip away. So my message to parents and to the youth in this beginning is very clear. Do not wait for addiction to become big before you act. Notice the small signs. Have the difficult conversations. Show love, not fear. Show guidance, not judgment. Because if we do not act today, addiction will act tomorrow. And it doesn't just take away habits, it takes away dreams, families, and futures. Why do so many young people fall into addiction today? It's not always because they are weak. Many times, it's because the world around them is designed to make them addicted. Look at video games. PUBG, Fortnite, Call of Duty. These games are built to keep you playing. Every match is short, exciting, unpredictable. You win a battle, your brain celebrates. You lose a battle, you say one more chance. Before you know it, hours are gone. The game is not just a game anymore. It becomes a world where you feel important, powerful, and respected. Something that real life may not always give. Now think about Netflix or Disney Plus. You say just one episode, but every episode ends with a cliffhanger. It tricks your brain to say, I need to see what happens next. And suddenly it's 3 a.m. and you're still watching. It feels small, but every lost night becomes a lost morning, and every lost morning becomes a lost future. And then there's TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. Scroll, scroll, scroll. A funny clip, a dance, a prank, another trend. Each video is only 15 seconds, but your brain gets a small hit of pleasure every time. And because there is no end, you keep scrolling. 10 minutes becomes an hour. An hour becomes 3. And at the end, you don't even remember what you saw. You just know your time is gone. Parents, listen carefully. These things look harmless. A game, a show, a short video. But the design is powerful. It's not just entertainment, it's engineering. Companies are competing for your child's attention, and every time your child spends another hour, someone else is winning, and your child is losing. But here's the truth. The addiction is not really to the game, or the show, or the app. The addiction is to the feeling behind it. The boy who spends all night on PUBG isn't really addicted to guns. He's addicted to the feeling of being a winner, of being respected by his teammates. The girl who binges Netflix isn't addicted to the screen. She's addicted to forgetting her stress for a while. The teenager scrolling TikTok endlessly isn't addicted to the dance videos. He's addicted to the feeling of never being bored. So parents, the real question is not, why is my child wasting time? The real question is, what feeling is my child searching for? Respect? Escape? Belonging? Excitement? Because unless you find that answer, you will never solve the addiction. And to the young people, let me be honest. At first, these addictions feel fun. They feel like freedom. But slowly they take away your freedom. First you control the app, the game, the show. Later the app controls you. You say one more match, you say one more episode, you say one more scroll, and slowly your time, your energy, your future, it disappears without you even noticing. Addiction always begins as entertainment, but it always ends as chains. And those chains don't just hold you back today, they hold back your tomorrow. That is why we must stop seeing addiction as just a bad habit. It is a thief, and every day you let it stay, it steals another piece of your potential. Parents often come to me worried. They say, my child doesn't listen. My son is always on the phone. My daughter is always watching shows. My teenager doesn't talk to me anymore. And their first reaction is always the same. Punish, restrict, control. Take away the phone. Cut the Wi-Fi. Hide the PlayStation. Cancel the Netflix subscription. But let me tell you something important. When you only fight with your child, you don't solve the addiction. You only move it deeper. Your child might stop in front of you, but behind closed doors, they will find another way. Another app, another friend's device, another secret account. You may win the battle of rules, but you will lose the war of trust. Because addiction is not only about technology, it's about emotions. Parents, think back to your own childhood. Did you ever have something your parents didn't understand? Maybe it was music, maybe a game, maybe fashion, maybe even friendships. And when they shouted at you, did you suddenly stop loving it? No, you just hid it better. Today's addictions are more powerful because they're designed by billion-dollar companies, but the principle is the same. When you attack without understanding, the heart only closes. So the first solution is this: understand before you act. Your child is not just wasting time. They are searching for something inside those screens. The boy who spends hours on PUBG or Fortnite, is he really addicted to shooting? No. He's addicted to feeling powerful, respected, needed by his team. The girl who watches Netflix until 3 a.m., is she really addicted to the TV screen? No. She's addicted to forgetting her stress, escaping from school pressure, or maybe loneliness. The teenager who scrolls TikTok endlessly, is he really addicted to dance videos and funny clips? No. He's addicted to the feeling of never being bored, of having something new every second. So ask yourself as a parent, what is my child really searching for? Because once you understand that, you can give them the real thing without the screen. If your son wants power and respect, give him opportunities to lead. Sports, coding, debates, robotics, something where he can win in real life. If your daughter wants escape, give her peace and support. Talk to her, not like a judge, but like a friend. Create a home where she feels safe to share her stress instead of hiding it. If your teenager wants excitement, give them challenges. Music, dance, art, volunteering, building something new so that they discover excitement in the real world, not just the digital one. Now here's the second solution, time together. I'll be very honest with you. Many parents today are also addicted not to games, but to work, to stress, to their own phones. Children see this. You tell them to stop scrolling, but they see you scrolling. You tell them to go outside, but you never go outside with them. You tell them to talk, but you don't sit and listen. Remember, children don't follow advice. They follow example. If you want your child to be free, you must show them what freedom looks like. If you want them to spend less time on screens, spend less time on your own. If you want them to talk, open your own heart first. I once met a father who told me, my son never eats dinner with us. He's always in his room playing games. I asked him, where do you eat dinner? He said, in the living room while watching TV. Do you see the problem? The son was not running away from family. The family was never truly there. Sometimes the best solution is the simplest. Sit together at dinner. No phones, no TV, no distractions. Talk, laugh, share. It feels small, but to a child, it feels like love. The third solution, replace, don't just remove. Addiction is like a hole in the heart. If you only take away the phone, the app, the game, the hole remains. And a hole always fills itself again, maybe with something worse. But if you replace it with something positive, the hole becomes a garden. Remove late night gaming, replace it with morning sports. Remove endless scrolling, replace it with family walks or creative hobbies. Remove binge watching, replace it with storytelling, music, or community activities. Parents, I want you to remember this. Your child doesn't just need rules, they need role models. They don't just need restrictions, they need relationships. And this relationship begins when you stop seeing addiction as their problem and start seeing it as our challenge. Imagine if your child knew, no matter what, my parents are not against me, they are with me. That one belief can break more chains than any punishment ever will. Because the truth is, when parents and children fight each other because of addiction, addiction wins. But when parents and children fight together against addiction, the family wins. Young people, now I want to speak to you directly. Because yes, parents play a role. Society plays a role. Technology plays a role. But at the end of the day, your life is in your hands. No one else can live it for you. Let's be honest. Addiction feels fun in the beginning. When you play PUBG all night, you feel powerful. When you watch Netflix until sunrise, you feel entertained. When you scroll TikTok endlessly, you feel like you're part of something bigger. Always in the loop. But slowly, something changes. What felt like freedom starts to feel like chains. First, you control the game. Later, the game controls you. First, you watch one show. Later, the show steals your entire night. First, you scroll for fun. Later, you don't even know why you're scrolling. You just can't stop. That's the truth about addiction. It gives you small pleasures today, but it takes away your big future tomorrow. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen a progress bar in a game? Every win, every mission, every achievement, you level up, you feel proud. But in real life, when you spend 10 hours on a screen, what levels up? Nothing. No new skill, no new respect, no new future. Only the app or the game levels up while you stay the same. But imagine if you treated your real life like a game. Instead of leveling up in PUBG, you level up your fitness. Instead of completing missions in Fortnite, you complete your goals in studies, business, or art. Instead of unlocking skins in a game, you unlock skills in life. Because here's the secret, the biggest game you will ever play is called your future. And the reward is much bigger than any digital trophy. It's freedom, success, respect, happiness. So how do you break free? Let me give you a few steps. Simple but powerful. Step 1. Be honest with yourself. Don't say it's just a little when you know it's hours. Don't say I can stop anytime when deep down you know you can't. The first step to freedom is admitting you're not free. Step 2. Set limits. Then challenge them. If you play for 6 hours a day, cut it to 4, then 3, then 2. Don't expect perfection in one night. Freedom comes step by step. Small victories create big victories. Step 3. Replace, don't just remove. The same rule for parents applies to you. If you just delete the app, boredom will bring it back. Instead, fill your time with something exciting: gym, music, art, sports, learning a new skill, starting a side hustle. The world is full of opportunities, but you will never see them if your eyes are always on a screen. Step 4. Find your team. In games, you need teammates. In life, you need them too. Surround yourself with friends who lift you up, not drag you down. If your group only talks about games and shows, you'll stay stuck. But if your group talks about dreams, goals, and building something, you'll grow faster than you imagine. Step 5. Remember the cost. Every hour lost to addiction is an hour stolen from your dream. Every night wasted on Netflix is a morning stolen from your energy. Every day wasted scrolling is a day stolen from your future. If you value your dream, protect your time. I know it's not easy. Addiction is like gravity. It pulls you down, but here's the good news: you are stronger than you think. You don't need to completely destroy your habits in one day. You just need to start winning one small battle at a time. Remember, the world is changing fast. Technology is powerful. Opportunities are everywhere, but only for those who can control themselves. If you let addiction control you, you'll always be a follower. But if you control yourself, you can become a leader. Young people, I believe in you. You don't have to waste your youth. You don't have to lose your potential. The chains of addiction may feel heavy, but they can be broken. And once they're broken, you'll realize something powerful. You didn't lose anything. You gained everything. Time, energy, respect, freedom, and most importantly, your future. We've talked about why addiction happens, what parents can do, and how young people can fight back. But now, let's talk about something even more powerful: proof. Because advice is important, but without stories, it feels far away. Stories show us what's possible. Stories remind us that if others can overcome, so can we. Let me begin with an ordinary story. A boy in India was once a top student. Bright, sharp, always curious. But then he discovered online gaming. At first it was harmless. An hour after school, just for fun. But slowly, that 1 hour became 2, then 5, then entire nights. His grades fell. His health weakened. His parents thought they lost him. But one day, he asked himself, why do I love this so much? And he realized it wasn't the guns or the graphics. It was the strategy, the teamwork, the thrill of victory. So he made a decision. Instead of wasting those skills in endless games, he would apply them to real life. He started learning coding, building apps, competing in hackathons. Today, he works in a tech company designing games for millions. He didn't destroy his addiction, he redirected it. Here's another story. A girl in America was addicted to Netflix. Every night she would watch shows until 3 or 4 in the morning. She loved the characters, the plots, the cliffhangers. But every morning she hated herself. She was tired, behind on assignments, and felt guilty. One day she said, if I can watch other people's stories for 6 hours, why can't I spend 1 hour writing my own? She started journaling, then short stories, then scripts. Today she doesn't just watch shows, she works in the film industry, creating them. The addiction didn't end her story, it gave her the courage to start her own. Now let's move to some famous examples. Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympian in history, once struggled with depression and addiction. Imagine this, a man who had more medals than anyone else in the world, who had everything people dream of, fame, money, respect, still fell into darkness. He said he felt empty inside, but he got help, fought back, and turned his pain into purpose. Today, he not only inspires as an athlete, but also as a symbol of resilience. Or take Robert Downey Jr. Everyone knows him as Iron Man, but before he wore that suit, he was nearly destroyed by addiction. He went to jail, lost roles, lost money, lost respect. People called him finished. But he rebuilt his life, step by step. And when the world saw him rise again, they didn't just see an actor, they saw a fighter. His story proves that no matter how deep you fall, you can always rise higher. Parents, you may look at your child and feel hopeless. Young people, you may look at yourself and feel trapped. But these stories tell us, addiction is not the end, it's just a chapter. Let me give you a different kind of story. I once met a boy who was completely obsessed with TikTok. He failed his exams. His parents scolded him every day. They thought he was lazy, careless, irresponsible. But when I spoke to him, I asked, "Why do you love TikTok so much?" He said, "Because when I post videos, people notice me. They like, they comment, they laugh. For once, I feel important." Do you see the truth? He wasn't addicted to the app. He was addicted to being noticed, to being valued. What he really wanted was recognition. So instead of punishing him, his parents encouraged him to join theater, to try public speaking. Slowly, he shifted his energy. Today, that boy is a college leader. He still loves attention, but now it comes from real applause, not just a screen. This is the key. Behind every addiction is a hidden hunger. A hunger for respect, a hunger for love, a hunger for peace, a hunger for excitement. And if you only fight the addiction, you miss the hunger. But if you guide the hunger, you unlock potential. Let me give you a powerful image. Addiction is like fire. Left uncontrolled, it burns, it destroys, it consumes everything in its path. But controlled, fire cooks your food, powers your engine, lights your home. The same energy that can destroy your life can also drive your life forward if you control it. I'll share another real example. There was a young man in Europe addicted to online gambling. He lost money, trust, and almost his family. But then, instead of denying his problem, he studied it. He started learning about finance, investments, psychology. He redirected his obsession. Today, he helps others manage money, teaching financial literacy. The same energy that almost ruined him is now the energy that saves others. Now let's zoom out. Every great person you admire has faced distractions, temptations, even addictions. What separates them from those who stay trapped is not that they never struggled. It's that they didn't let the struggle define them. They turned the struggle into strength. Think about it. A student who wastes time scrolling TikTok could become a social media entrepreneur if they redirect that creativity. A gamer addicted to PUBG could become an esports player, a streamer, or a game designer if they discipline their passion. A Netflix binger who loves stories could become a writer, filmmaker, or storyteller if they stop consuming and start creating. The addiction itself is not talent, but inside the addiction is a clue to what the heart is searching for. Parents, remember, when you see your child lost, don't just see the problem, look for the hunger inside it. Guide that hunger, because one day, the same energy that scares you could be the energy that makes them great. Young people, remember, you don't need to erase your past, you need to redirect it. The hours you wasted don't define you. The choice you make today defines you. And you always have the power to choose again. Because addiction is not your identity. It is your enemy. And enemies exist for one reason, to be defeated. And when you defeat this one, you'll realize something powerful. It wasn't just about quitting a bad habit. It was about proving to yourself that you can win any battle life throws at you. Let us pause for a moment and ask, what is truly at stake if we lose the battle against addiction? It is not just grades. It is not just health. It is not just a few wasted hours. It is your future. It is your dreams. It is the life you were meant to live. Think about this carefully. When a young person spends 5 hours a day lost in addiction, whether it's nicotine, Netflix, TikTok, or endless gaming, over a year, that's more than 1,800 hours gone. That's 75 full days. And those days will never return. Imagine if those same 1,800 hours were used learning a skill, starting a business, building health, or simply investing in relationships. That single choice can be the difference between being ordinary and being extraordinary. But here's the truth. Life doesn't punish you for your past. It challenges you for your next decision. And your next decision is everything. Addiction is not bigger than you. It only feels bigger because you keep feeding it. Every scroll, every puff, every just one more episode is food for the monster. But here's the beauty. You created it, and you can starve it. The cigarette in your fingers is not stronger than the fire in your soul, The mobile in your hand is not smarter than the mind in your head. The Netflix story on your screen is not greater than the story you can write with your own life. Every addiction is simply an illusion of control. It makes you believe you can't live without it. But the moment you take that painful but brave step of saying no, you realize you were always in control. Parents, your children don't need perfection. They don't need a father who never makes mistakes or a mother who never loses patience. What they need is presence. What they need is listening. Do you know why so many young people run to addiction? It's not always because they are careless. It's because they feel unheard. A like on Instagram, a comment on TikTok, a win in a game, it makes them feel valued. But what if that validation came from home? What if instead of saying you're wasting your time, you said, I know you're struggling and I believe in you? Do you know how powerful that can be? Addiction thrives where there is silence, but it begins to die when there is love. Young people, imagine this. You wake up one day 10 years from now. You are successful, respected, free. People admire your discipline, your courage, your work, and they ask you, what made you so strong? You will not say, my life was easy. You will not say, I never struggled. You will say, because I fought battles inside myself that no one else could see, and I won. Addiction feels like a curse, but hidden inside it is a gift, the gift of strength. Every time you say no to your addiction, even once, you are building a muscle of self-control, a muscle of resilience, a muscle of courage. That muscle will carry you through not just this problem, but every storm of life. A tiny seed is buried deep underground. It is covered by darkness, by soil, by pressure. From the outside, it looks dead, forgotten. But deep inside, it is alive. And one day when the rain falls and the sun shines, that seed breaks the ground. It grows into a tree. Addiction makes you feel like that seed buried, stuck, invisible. But you are not dead. You are waiting. And the moment you decide to rise, you will break the ground of your addictions. You will grow into the tree the world was waiting for. Every great leader, every great entrepreneur, every great athlete, every great artist, you admire them not because life was easy for them. You admire them because they faced temptation, distraction, and addiction, and they chose differently. Robert Downey Jr. was destroyed by addiction before he became Iron Man. Michael Phelps faced depression and addiction before he became the most decorated Olympian in history. Even ordinary people, students, workers, parents, who decide to fight their addictions become extraordinary in ways the world doesn't always see. So if you are fighting today, don't feel ashamed. Feel proud, because it means your story is being written. Now let me be direct. Do you want to be remembered as the boy who wasted his nights on screens, or as the man who built something real? Do you want to be remembered as the girl who lost herself in smoke, or as the woman who breathed life into her dreams? The choice is in your hands. Not tomorrow, not next week, not one day, but today. Because the clock is ticking. Every second is a seed, every decision is a root, and every root is shaping the tree of your future. So rise. Rise from your addictions. Rise from your distractions. Rise from your doubts. Because the world does not need another lost young person. The world needs your ideas. The world needs your courage. The world needs your story. And one day, when you defeat this battle, you will look in the mirror and realize something powerful. It was never just about quitting an addiction. It was about proving to yourself that you can win any battle life throws at you. And when you reach that moment, you won't just be free. You won't just be healed. You will be unstoppable. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, my friends.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is a moment in every person's life when the world goes silent. Not because everything around you has stopped, but because deep inside you know this is the moment that will decide the rest of your life. It doesn't come with a warning, it doesn't knock politely, it just appears and stares you in the face. Some people grab it, most people watch it pass by. And here's the hard truth. Your future doesn't change because you want it to. It changes because you finally decide to change it. But deciding is hard, not because you don't know what you want, but because the cost of choosing is the death of every other possible life you could have lived. That's why most people never really decide. They drift, they wait, they hope life will choose for them. But life doesn't care. I want to take you on a journey today, a journey through 3 different lives all connected by one thing, a decision. One decision that built a future or destroyed it. Let's start with Michael. Michael grew up in Ohio, ordinary kid, good grades, played basketball after school. By the time he turned 22, he had a safe job in a local bank. Steady paycheck, health insurance, nothing to complain about. But deep inside, he hated it. Every morning, he'd stare at his coffee cup and whisper to himself, I was made for more than this. For 2 years, he told himself he'd quit and start his own sports equipment business. He had the plan, he had the savings, but he didn't have the decision. Then one Monday morning, his manager walked in and said, we're restructuring, your role will be reduced. Reduced? He was being slowly erased. That night, Michael realized something. If he didn't decide now, life would decide for him. So trembling with fear, he quit. It wasn't smooth, it wasn't perfect. But 3 years later, Michael's company sponsored a major college basketball league. One decision, entirely different life. Now let's look at Sarah. Sarah was 48 when she felt it. That itch, that pull. She had worked 20 years in marketing. Good pay, big title, respect. But one evening, she caught herself staring at the window, thinking, if I die tomorrow, would this be the story I'm proud of? For weeks, she ignored it. After all, who changes their career at 4? But then she saw her teenage daughter come home, frustrated from school, saying, I don't think I'm good enough to do anything great. That hit her hard, because Sarah realized she had been living the same way, safe, small, and scared. The next morning, she made the call. She left her company and started a small nonprofit teaching girls leadership skills. Everyone called her crazy. But today, her programs run in over 200 schools across the US. One decision, entirely different life. And then there's Daniel. Daniel's story isn't a happy one. At 72, he sits on his porch in Florida, looking out at the ocean. And every day he asks himself the same question. What if, when Daniel was 25, he had an offer to join a small tech startup? His friends begged him to take it. But it was risky. The salary was low. So he said no. That company, Apple, he spent the next 40 years working safe jobs, never poor, never rich, but always wondering, what if I just said yes? One non-decision, entirely different life. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Every day you are standing at a crossroads. Every single day. When you choose to stay the same, you're making a decision. When you choose to wait, you're making a decision. When you choose to say, I'm not ready, you're deciding to waste more of your life. We tell ourselves we're waiting for the right time, but the right time never comes. The perfect moment, it doesn't exist. Opportunity doesn't knock, it stands in front of you, silently waiting to see if you're brave enough to open the door. I've learned that in life, there are 2 types of pain. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. One is heavy now, the other is heavy forever. And here's what's terrifying. Regret is silent. It doesn't scream, it whispers. You hear it when you see someone living the life you wanted. You hear it when you lie in bed at night staring at the ceiling. You hear it when you look at your own reflection and feel that sting because you know you played it safe. So how do you make the decision? You start by asking one question. If I don't do this, will I regret it in 10 years? That one question cuts through fear. Because the truth is, fear is temporary, but regret lasts forever. When I was younger, I met a man on a plane. He told me something I'll never forget. He said, when you're 90 years old, sitting in a chair, your memories will either be your comfort or your prison. The decisions you make now will decide which one it is. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to know every step. You just need to decide to move, because momentum creates clarity. Movement creates opportunity. The world doesn't reward the most talented. It rewards the most decisive. History isn't written by people who were ready. It's written by people who were brave enough to start right now. You might be one decision away from the life you've always wanted, or one hesitation away from losing it forever. So I leave you with this. Close your eyes tonight and imagine it's 10 years from now. You're sitting somewhere alone thinking about today. Will you be proud of the choice you made, or will you be haunted by it? Your future depends on this one decision. Make it now. Thank you for your time.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to reveal 5 enemies inside you that silently block your success, and the first enemy is the one sitting right next to you every single day. What will people say? This enemy is powerful. It doesn't hit you with a punch. It hits you with a whisper. Don't post that. Don't start that. Don't try that. What if someone laughs? You know what's funny? Most people are not controlled by their parents, their boss, or their circumstances. They are controlled by a group of imaginary people standing inside their brain, shaking their heads. I know someone who wanted to start going to the gym, not because they wanted to get fit, but because they were scared someone would say, "Why are you suddenly trying to improve?" Imagine that improving yourself is considered suspicious now. Let me give you a famous example. When Ed Sheeran started singing live, people literally told him, "You have the voice of a broken air conditioner." Today, those same people cry at his concerts like he's singing directly to their soul. Or take Messi. At 11 years old, people said he was too skinny to be a football star. At 16, they said he was trying too hard. Today, those same people scream his name so loudly they forget their own nationality. People don't know what they want. They only know how to talk. But it's not just celebrities. Let's talk about everyday life. You want to wear something different? What will people say? You want to switch careers? What will people say? You want to order dessert when you promise to diet? Your friend will stare at you like you just murdered your goals. What will people say? A guy I know wanted to start YouTube, but said, "My cousins will laugh." I said, "Your cousins laugh at everything. They laughed the day you were born." And anyway, have you seen the kind of content people post today? People eat fire on live stream and nobody says a word. You posting a video is not going to break the internet. People fear embarrassment more than failure. But embarrassment lasts 30 seconds. Failure lasts 1 moment. Regret lasts a lifetime. And here's the biggest joke. The same people whose opinions you fear are scared of other people's opinions too. It's like a global chain of insecure people controlling each other. Let me tell you another relatable example. A girl wanted to post her artwork online. She said, "What if people say it's bad?" I asked, "Do you know how many terrible drawings go viral every week?" Nobody cares. She posted her art. It didn't just get likes, it got orders. People started buying from her. Now she laughs at her old fear. And that's how life works. When you care too much about people's opinions, you shrink your life. The moment you stop caring about what people say, people start caring about what you say. Because the day will come when the same people who judged you will proudly say, "I knew them when they were nothing." Not because you proved them wrong, but because you finally understood the truth. They never controlled you. You allowed them to. Before we talk about ego, let me warn you, this enemy is sneaky. It doesn't scream. It doesn't attack. Ego whispers, "I'm already right. I already know. I don't need help." And that whisper has destroyed more potential than failure ever has. Ego is the enemy that convinces you that learning is beneath you, while life is trying to teach you everything. I met a young guy once who said, "I don't need advice. I know what I'm doing." 3 months later, he came back asking the exact same questions he refused to hear the answers to. Not because he was stupid, but because his ego was louder than reality. We all know someone like this. Maybe a friend, maybe a coworker, maybe sometimes ourselves. Ego is funny. It appears the moment you know a little. You watch 3 motivational videos and suddenly you're a life coach. You lift weights for 2 weeks and suddenly you walk like you own the gym. You read 1 financial book and suddenly you give investment advice to people who actually have money. Ego makes beginners feel like experts, and experts feel like gods. Let me give you a famous example. At the start of his career, Dwayne Johnson said he thought he knew everything about football and life. His ego made him think success would come easily. Then he got cut from his team, broke and depressed. He said it took that failure to realize my way was not working. I had to learn again like a student. And today, he dominates industries because he became humble enough to learn again. Another example, Steve Jobs was known for an intense ego early in his career. So intense, his own company fired him. That's how powerful ego can be. It can make you lose what you built. But when he returned years later, he came back wiser, calmer, open to learning. That version of him changed the world. Ego is dangerous because it blocks the one thing that guarantees success: humility to grow. Let me give you something more relatable. A guy refuses to read a book because he thinks books are boring, but spends 3 hours watching useless videos. A girl won't ask a question in class because her ego says, if you ask, people will think you're dumb. A businessman refuses to upgrade his skill because I've done this for 20 years. And then he gets shocked when the world moves ahead without him. The people who pretend to know everything stay exactly where they are. So test yourself. Ask, when was the last time I accepted that I was wrong? When was the last time I learned something new? When was the last time I listened instead of argued? Because ego will never tell you when it's ruining your life. It will only let you realize after the damage is done. But here's the good news. You can kill ego with one weapon. Humility, not weakness, humility. The courage to say, I don't know, teach me. I made a mistake, I'll improve. I need help, it's okay. When you drop ego, you don't become smaller. You become unstoppable. Because you open the door to learning, to growth, to transformation. Remember this, ego makes you think you're climbing a mountain, but in reality, it's pulling you down quietly. Let it go. Your future is bigger than your pride. Now let's talk about the third enemy inside you. This one is tricky, sneaky, and everyone suffers from it, even the most disciplined people. I call it quick results addiction. We live in a world of instant noodles, instant coffee, instant entertainment, so we expect instant success too. 2 weeks of learning, and we want to be experts. 2 posts on social media, and we want to go viral. 2 days at the gym, and we want abs like superheroes. Sound familiar? That's quick results addiction talking. It whispers, if it doesn't happen now, it's not worth it. If it's not fast, it's not for me. Let me give you an example from real life. A girl started learning guitar. 2 weeks in, her fingers hurt. Her songs sounded terrible. She looked at a 12-year-old prodigy on Instagram and said, I'll never be like her. I give up. Quick results addiction had her trapped. She forgot that every master started as a beginner. Let's talk about famous examples. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter was published. If she was addicted to quick results, we'd never have Hogwarts. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. If he expected instant success, we'd never have seen the greatest of all time. Bill Gates failed multiple times before Microsoft became Microsoft. Quick results addiction would have made him quit after the first bug in the program. We all know someone like this. Someone who starts a fitness program in January, quits in February. Someone who invests in the stock market, sells in panic after 1 day. Someone who starts a course, abandons it after 1 difficult module. The problem isn't lack of talent. It's not lack of resources. It's the expectation of instant gratification. Here's a funny truth. People complain about life taking too long, but they spend 5 hours binge watching a series, 1 hour scrolling social media, and 20 minutes learning something meaningful. Quick results. Addiction is like a toddler. It throws a tantrum when it doesn't get what it wants immediately. And the worst part, it convinces you that giving up is smart. Let me share a relatable story. There was a guy who wanted to learn English. He downloaded an app, did 5 lessons, didn't understand anything, and said, this app is useless. 3 years later, the same guy complained that foreigners don't understand him. Quick results addiction had him again, expecting miracles without patience. The truth is simple. Success is a marathon, not a sprint. It is slow, messy, uncomfortable, and full of failures. And the people who quit too early, they are not lazy, they are addicted to fast results. So, how do you fight this enemy? You learn to love the process, not the outcome. Here's the harsh reality. The internet, trends, and social pressure make this enemy stronger every day. But if you can wait, persist, and focus, you will beat everyone who gave up too soon. Quick results addiction can ruin dreams silently. It makes people quit the moment the magic doesn't happen. But magic is built over time, not in a day, not in a week, not in a month. If you can resist it, You will outlast everyone else. You will build what others only imagine. Now let's talk about the fourth enemy inside you. This one is extremely popular. Everyone knows it, everyone struggles with it, but very few fight it seriously. I call it tomorrow. Yes, that little word that sounds innocent, harmless, like a promise, but secretly steals your life. Tomorrow I'll start my diet. Tomorrow I'll start my business. Tomorrow I'll learn that skill. Tomorrow I'll work on my dream. And tomorrow comes again. And suddenly 5 years have passed. And your dream is still waiting, somewhere in the corner of your mind, while life moves on without you. I know someone who wanted to start a blog. He kept saying, tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. Years later, he told me, I still haven't started because I'm waiting for the perfect day. I asked, was there a perfect day for Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube? He laughed and finally realized that perfect day doesn't exist. Let me give you a famous example. Jeff Bezos didn't start Amazon on a perfect day. He started it while working from his garage, while risking everything, while people laughed at him. There was no perfect moment. He just acted. Or look at Oprah Winfrey. She started her career with little experience, no fame, and constant rejection. She didn't wait for the perfect day. She created her perfect day by acting now. This enemy is sneaky because it feels safe. Tomorrow gives you comfort. It says, don't rush, don't stress, you have time. But that comfort is a trap. It lulls you into inaction, and inaction is slow death for dreams. Think about it. The person who wanted to learn coding tomorrow is now stuck in a job they don't love. The student who promised to study tomorrow is now failing the same exams. The entrepreneur who postponed action tomorrow is watching competitors succeed. Here's a funny truth. We spend hours scrolling social media, watching other people live, liking their achievements, all while telling ourselves, tomorrow I'll be productive. Tomorrow I'll start my life. Tomorrow is the enemy that wears the mask of innocence. It never looks threatening. It never shouts. It just quietly steals days, months, years, until one day you realize, where did my time go? Here's the harsh truth. Every tomorrow you give yourself is a day lost forever, and you can never get it back. So how do you defeat this enemy? Start today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when conditions are perfect. Start now. In this moment, with whatever you have. Write one page, send one email, post one video, learn one thing, take one step today. Because one step today is worth more than 1,000 tomorrows. Remember, your dreams are not waiting for the perfect moment. Life doesn't pause. The world doesn't stop. If you keep giving everything to tomorrow, you will live someone else's life, not your own. Don't wait. Move, act today. Now we come to the fifth enemy inside you. This one is subtle, quiet, but incredibly dangerous. I call it old identity. You see, most people want a new life. They want success. They want money. They want recognition. They want happiness. But here's the problem. They are still the same person they were 5, 10, or 20 years ago. Same habits, same mindset, same environment, same excuses. It's like expecting a mango tree to grow oranges. It won't happen. Not because the tree is weak, but because the tree never changed. I know someone who said, I want to become fit, healthy, and strong. But he continued eating junk food, sleeping late, and skipping workouts. Guess what happened? Nothing. Zero. He wanted a new life, but held on to his old identity. Even famous people prove this point. Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't become Mr. Universe by wishing to be strong. He became it by acting. Every day as the person he wanted to be. Disciplined, focused, relentless. Elon Musk didn't build SpaceX and Tesla by thinking like a regular engineer or businessman. He adopted a new identity. The person who could risk everything, learn everything, and keep going. The truth is, you cannot become someone else without first becoming a new version of yourself. Your habits, your environment, your daily actions, they define your identity. And if you keep doing the same old things, you will keep getting the same old results. I've met countless people who want a millionaire life, but they spend their evenings watching TikTok, scrolling Instagram and gossiping about friends. They want respect, but treat everyone around them poorly. They want health, but eat sugar like it's medicine. Your identity is not your name. It's not your degree. It's not what people call you. Your identity is your daily actions. Who you are every morning, every choice, every habit. Let me give you a relatable example. A friend wanted to be a writer, but every day he told himself, I'm not a writer. I can't write. I don't have time. Guess what happened? Exactly what his old identity predicted. Nothing. The moment he acted like a writer, writing 1 page a day, reading every day, learning every day, he became one. Not magically, not overnight, but slowly, consistently, until one day he looked back and realized, I am no longer who I was. I am the person I wanted to be. Old identity is dangerous because it hides behind excuses. It says, I can't, I'm too old, I'm too inexperienced. It's not me. And the worst part, it feels safe, comfortable, familiar. But comfort never builds a legacy. Familiarity never creates innovation. Old habits never lead to new results. So how do you fight this enemy? Act like the person you want to become. Think like the person you want to be. Learn like the person you want to become. Surround yourself with people who reflect the identity you want. And slowly, your old self will fade. Your new self will rise. Remember this. You can't create a new life while living in your old skin. The person you are today is a copy of your past. The person you want to be tomorrow needs you to act today. Stop being your old self. Start becoming who you were meant to be. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, my friends. Ladies and gentlemen, we are entering 2026, a year that is moving so fast it doesn't even stop to breathe. Technology is growing, AI is working overtime. Your refrigerator knows more about your eating habits than your doctor, and your phone is smarter than half of your relatives. The world is changing aggressively, and if you want to win in it, you cannot rely on the basic mindset of just working hard. Hard work used to be the key, but today even insects work hard. The ant in your kitchen is more disciplined than most people I know. So what will make you rich? Not muscles, not degrees, not how much data your phone has. It's skills. 5 human skills that can survive even in a world where robots do 90% of everything. Today, we start with the first one. And trust me, it's not what you expect. The first skill is the most underrated talent, the ability to notice what everyone else ignores. I call it the skill of seeing the useless. Because the truth is, the richest people in the world didn't discover diamonds. They discovered small, annoying problems everyone else walked past. Think about some of the most successful ideas in the world. They didn't come from big genius moments. They came from people paying attention. One example, the story of Airbnb. 2 guys noticed something incredibly boring. Hotels were expensive during big events, and people had empty rooms. That's it. Nothing magical. They observed what everybody else ignored. Today, a multi-billion-dollar company built on the simple idea of people have space, other people need space. Here's another one. Crocs. Ugly shoes, right? At least that's what the world said. But someone noticed something the rest of the world ignored. They are comfortable, too comfortable. Comfortable enough that people would secretly love them even if they pretend not to. That tiny observation turned into a global brand worth billions. That's the power of noticing the boring everyday things. In 2026, this skill becomes even more powerful. Why? Because everyone is trying to build big, complicated things. Everyone wants to create the next giant app, the next breakthrough technology, but the real gold is always lying on the ground. Small problems, simple solutions, consistent demand. AI can calculate, design, analyze, but it still cannot feel the irritation a human feels when a fry falls between the car seats. Speaking of that, one of the most ridiculous products I've ever seen made millions. A man noticed people continuously dropping fries and coins into that tiny gap between the car seat and the handbrake. So he invented a cheap piece of plastic to block it. Cost almost nothing to produce, sold like it was a luxury item. Because people are ready to fight the government, but they refuse to lose a French fry. This is what I want you to understand. Ideas don't come from genius. Ideas come from paying attention. So here's a small exercise for you. Slow down, observe people. Watch where they struggle. Listen to what annoys them. Notice what they repeat every single day without thinking. These tiny moments are opportunities wearing boring clothes. Wealth does not come from intelligence. It comes from awareness. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room, just the one who is actually looking. 2026 will reward the people who pay attention and punish the people who rush blindly. So stop saying there are no opportunities. Opportunities are everywhere. They walk past you daily. You just don't look at them because your eyes are busy scrolling, and that is the first skill. Observe what everyone else ignores. The world is full of gold, but most people are staring at their phones while stepping on it. Before we go into the second skill, let me remind you of something. In 2026, machines will be everywhere. They will write emails, answer calls, design logos, diagnose problems, and maybe even judge your fashion choices. But there is one thing a machine still cannot replace: the human spirit. The human ability to connect, influence, and inspire. The second skill that will make you rich in 2026 is something every successful person secretly relies on, but nobody teaches it properly. The skill of human communication. Not fancy English, not a deep vocabulary, not trying to sound intelligent. I'm talking about the powerful, rare ability to talk in a way people actually want to listen. Communication is not speaking. Everyone speaks. Some people speak too much. Communication is when your words create movement, when your ideas make someone feel something, when your message enters a person's mind and stays there longer than your New Year's resolutions. Let me give you an example. There's a reason some people can raise millions with just a pitch, while others can't even convince their family to try a new restaurant. It's not because the idea is better, it's because the communication is better. People don't follow ideas. They follow the emotion attached to the idea. Think about Steve Jobs. Forget the products for a moment. What made him legendary was the way he communicated. He could hold a room with a single sentence. He didn't sell gadgets. He sold the feeling of being part of something special. That skill made billions. Another example, Oprah. Millions of people listened to her for decades, not because she was the smartest person in the room, but because she made people feel understood. When she spoke, people felt seen. That is communication, and that is money. Let's make it even simpler. Imagine two sellers. Seller A says, "This bottle is good for you, buy it." Seller B says, "This bottle will keep you hydrated, fresh, energetic, and ready for the day." Guess who gets the sale? Communication is not about information. It's about translation. You translate your idea into someone else's desire. One of my students once said, "Sir, I know everything, but nobody listens to me." I said, "Then you know nothing. If people don't understand you, your knowledge is useless." That's the truth we avoid. Communication is the bridge between your brain and the world. If you cannot cross that bridge, your ideas die inside you. The best part? This is the richest skill in the world. Businesses need communicators. Clients trust communicators. Teams follow communicators. Investors believe communicators. In 2026, when everyone is hiding behind screens, the person who can speak clearly will always stand out. Now let me tell you how to improve this skill. Not the boring way, the real way. First, stop trying to impress people. Impressing people is the fastest way to sound fake. Speak simply. Some of the most powerful leaders use the simplest words. You don't need to speak like a dictionary. You need to sound like a human. Second, listen more. You cannot communicate well if you don't understand the person in front of you. Most people listen only to reply. Great communicators listen to understand. Third, add stories. Humans are addicted to stories. You may forget a fact, but you will never forget a story that touched you. Fourth, control your tone. A message spoken with confidence hits differently. A message spoken with panic scares everyone. Calm energy creates trust. And finally, be honest. In a world full of filters, Photoshop, fake lifestyles, and rented cars used as success videos, honesty is the most attractive skill left. People follow those who speak truth with kindness and courage. This is the power of communication. It turns ordinary things into valuable things. It turns ideas into movements. It turns strangers into customers. And it turns a simple message into money. Machines can calculate faster than us. Machines can write faster than us. Machines can organize better than us. But machines cannot touch the human heart. The person who communicates well will always control the room, the deal, the opportunity, and eventually the wealth. Now we move to the third skill, And this one is the reason some people rise faster in life while others stay stuck, even if they work twice as hard. The third skill is the ability to learn fast and adapt even faster. Not book learning, not memorizing definitions, not collecting certificates. I mean the ability to adjust quickly when life suddenly changes its mood, which it does every few months. In 2026, the world will change so quickly that if you wait too long, opportunity will pack its bags and leave. Those who adapt fast will grow, and those who wait for the perfect moment will stay exactly where they are. Think about Netflix. Their biggest strength wasn't movies, it was adaptability. When DVDs became old, they moved to streaming. When streaming became crowded, they moved into creating original shows. Every time the world shifted, they shifted faster. That's why they're still here. Or look at YouTubers. 1 year long videos boom, next year shorts explode, next month nobody knows what's happening. The creators who adapt survive. The creators who complain disappear. Adaptation is not about changing everything. It's about staying flexible. Just like how your Wi-Fi sometimes stops working until you turn it off and on again, humans also need that reset. One of my students once told me, "Sir, I don't want to start something new until I'm ready." And I said, if you wait to be ready, you'll be waiting your whole life. The people who win are never fully prepared. They jump in, they learn while doing, they adjust as they go along. Adaptability is also about removing ego. Some people fail simply because they refuse to update themselves. They think learning something new makes them look weak. But the truth is, nothing is more powerful than someone who can reinvent themselves whenever needed. Let me give you a real example. There was a small restaurant owner during the pandemic who was about to lose everything. Customers vanished, bills piled up. Instead of panicking, he turned his kitchen into a meal prep business for gym members, then turned those meals into delivery packs, then started selling sauces online. Today he earns more than he ever did with his restaurant. Not because he had a big plan, but because he adapted before it was too late. Adaptability doesn't mean you change your goals. It means you change your methods until your goal becomes reality. And here's the secret. Fast learners are not born. They're made. They don't waste time proving they're right. They focus on improving. They don't freeze when things go wrong. They ask, okay, what now? The world in 2026 will belong to people who can move quickly, learn quickly, and recover quickly. If you can adapt faster than others, you will never be out of opportunities. Because while everyone else is stuck complaining about how things used to be, you will already be building something new. The fourth skill is something most people misunderstand completely. They think it's boring, they think it's difficult, and they think they can avoid it forever. But the truth is, this skill quietly decides who becomes rich and who stays busy pretending to be productive. The fourth skill is managing your emotions, especially under pressure. In 2026, opportunities will come fast, and problems will come even faster. If your emotions control you, you will make the wrong decisions at the worst possible time. But if you control your emotions, you can stay calm when everyone else is panicking. And that alone gives you an advantage that almost feels unfair. Let me give you an example. Two people invest money. One starts checking the market every 5 minutes, like it's a heartbeat monitor. The moment it drops slightly, he panics, sells everything, and makes sure he loses. The second person stays calm, ignores the noise, waits for the right time, and makes a profit. Same investment, different emotions, completely different results. Look at athletes. The greatest athletes aren't the strongest. They're the ones who stay collected when millions are watching. That mental stability is a skill, not a gift. Here's a business example. During a crisis, most companies freeze or make rushed decisions. Meanwhile, the calm ones make strategic moves that change their entire future. When the world panicked during big global shifts, companies like Zoom grew insanely fast simply because they knew exactly what they were doing, while others were confused. Emotional control also affects your daily life more than you think. Someone rejects you, you quit your project. A friend teases you, you lose motivation. One bad day, you give up for a week. This emotional roller coaster is why many talented people never succeed, not because they lack skill, but because they lack stability. Let me tell you a small story. A young entrepreneur once had a huge investor meeting. Right before the meeting, his laptop crashed, his slides disappeared, and even his shirt got a coffee stain. Most people would have exploded. He didn't. He entered the meeting, smiled, and said, "My presentation died, but my idea is still alive. Let me explain it to you." Guess what? He got the investment. Not because of his slides, because of his calm. People trust calm people. Teams follow calm leaders. Customers rely on calm service. The world always rewards emotional discipline because it is so rare. So how do you build this skill? Start with small things. When something goes wrong, pause before reacting. When you feel angry, don't speak yet. When you feel stressed, breathe first. You train emotional control the same way you build muscle. Repetition. Once you master this, you will not fear unexpected problems. You will handle challenges while others break down. And when everything collapses, you will be the person still thinking clearly. That's the fourth skill. The power to stay steady when life is not. Now we reach the final skill. And this one is the most dangerous in the world. Dangerous because once you master it, nobody can stop you. It doesn't matter where you started, who doubted you, or what your past looks like. This skill can turn an ordinary person into a force that feels unstoppable. The fifth skill is the ability to take action without waiting for perfect conditions. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because they delay every dream they have. They wait for the right time, the right mood, the right amount of confidence, the right amount of money, the right weather, the right alignment of the planets, and by the time everything is right, 10 years have passed, and they're still standing at the starting line. Success goes to the people who move, not the people who plan forever. Look at some of the biggest success stories. Most companies didn't start when everything was ready. They started when things were messy. Amazon began in a garage. Instagram began as a small check-in app that didn't even work properly. Even some of the biggest restaurants today began with borrowed stoves and cheap plastic chairs. Nothing was perfect, but action created improvement, and improvement created success. You don't need perfect conditions, you need movement. One of my favorite examples is the creator of Spanx, Sarah Blakely. She had no experience in fashion, no investors, no team, no fancy office. She just had an idea and the courage to start. She didn't wait to learn everything. She didn't wait for permission. She took action while learning on the way and became a billionaire. But here's the funny thing. Most people don't even fail. They simply never start. They say things like, I'll start tomorrow, next week, or the classic, when I feel motivated. But motivation is like Wi-Fi. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it disappears right when you actually need it. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. I once met a young guy who told me, Sir, I'll start my business when I'm confident. I told him, confidence doesn't come before action. It comes after action. You don't become confident before starting. You become confident because you started. Every major breakthrough in your life will come from tiny steps taken when you didn't feel ready. Want to know a secret? Nobody feels ready. Not even the big people you admire. They just move anyway. This is why action is the final skill. While everyone else is preparing, you are progressing. While everyone else is thinking, you are building. While everyone else is waiting, you are growing. In 2026, the gap between the dreamers and the doers will become even wider. And the crazy part, the doers are not always smarter. They're simply braver for 5 minutes longer. Action beats talent. Action beats fear. Action beats perfection. Every single time. And when you combine all the skills we talked about, seeing what others ignore, communicating well, adapting fast, controlling your emotions, you become someone who doesn't just survive the future. You shape it. Now you have the full set of skills. 5 human powers that machines cannot replace. 5 skills that can build wealth, confidence, opportunity, and a life worth living. And remember, the future is not waiting for you, but it will absolutely reward you if you move. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, my friends.